CURES is sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.
Helping you lead a healthier life. This is CURES.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CURES Show, where we explore cutting-edge wellness from credible sources. I'm Kara Sundland. What if we treated perimenopause like puberty, with real guidance, real support, real answers? Well, an upcoming book titled The Perimenopause Revolution aims to end the stigma and the confusion around perimenopause. You know, we weren't even talking about this 5 or 10 years ago. It actually happens much earlier than you may think, even in your late 30s. Joining us now is the author and functional doctor and hormone expert, Dr. Mariza Snyder. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited to dive in because not only are you going to tell us what this is, but you have a plan
yes.
to help us get over it.
A plan. That's the most important part.
We need a plan.
We need a plan.
We don't want to just hear about the problems. We have a plan to optimize. Okay, so let's just start the basics because we were discussing this earlier that it wasn't even something we talked about. When I was in my early 30s, nobody mentioned perimenopause. So let's just start with what it is. What is it?
Absolutely. Perimenopause is the 4 to 10 year transition leading to menopause. And remember that menopause, how we define it is it's 1 full year without a period. That is officially menopause. It's one date and time, and then we head into postmenopause, or we can call it menopause from that point forward. And why we call it the second puberty is that just like puberty, it is just as destabilizing and transformative because hormones are erratically fluctuating and ultimately declining. So in puberty, we were heading into our reproductive years, our childbearing years, but with perimenopause, we are heading out of our childbearing years. And as a result of these fluctuating hormones, it has an impact on the entire body, and women can start experiencing symptoms.
Yeah, let's talk about the symptoms because it really is a whole body transition.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that the most common symptoms are brain-related symptoms. And we think about hot flashes and night sweats. Well, those are brain-related symptoms, but also sleep issues, anxiety, depression, low stress tolerance, irritability is the most common symptom of perimenopause.
And so often, if you were to go to the doctor and say, I don't know, I'm snapping at my family, I'm doing this. I mean, women have been most commonly just prescribed an antidepressant.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
I would say that we are not connecting the dots between symptoms of perimenopause and women's mental health and overall emotional resilience. And so often they are given an antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication when really we should be addressing the whole body and most importantly asking the question, is it her hormones? Is she in perimenopause?
And this is something that I think I was reading an article that doctors weren't really taught much about it because they used to say, well, there's nothing we can do about it.
That's absolutely true. So I would say it takes about 4 to 6 office visits for your doctor to connect the dots between your symptoms and perimenopause. And most doctors, especially primary doctors, family physicians, and even OBGYNs, don't have a lot of menopause or perimenopause care. Now, I am excited to be having this conversation because I feel that that is shifting and changing. But still, a lot of doctors do not feel prepared to take care of women in perimenopause.
Yeah, so let's go through it because number one, we're talking about it, so that's really important. So even if you didn't realize, people know what menopause is, but I don't know that people understood that you might start having symptoms like anxiety or insomnia or mood swings or brain fog up to 10 years before?
Yeah, up to 10 years. And so what I always tell women is, 1, know that you are not broken and you are not crazy. You are going through a profound hormone shift that, again, impacts you physically and mentally. 2, I always recommend, in order to advocate for yourself in the doctor's office, 1, treat that meeting like it's one of the most important meetings you are going to. Get clear on your symptoms, especially your top 3 biggest symptoms, and how those symptoms are impacting your life. So connect the dots for your doctor about how it's showing up in your work or showing up with your family. Next, track your cycle, track your menstrual cycle, track your energy levels, your sleep, track your mood so that you have some data about yourself. I'm a big fan of bioobservability. I'm wearing a Whoop. I track a lot of my own biometrics so that I can connect the dots between my hormone shifting and my symptoms.
So a Whoop, just in case people don't know, it's a more advanced tracker, but you might be wearing an Oura ring
or a Fitbit.
An Apple Watch. Does an Apple Watch, I know Oura Rings will track hormones. I don't know if Apple Watches have what you're looking for.
Not as exact as an Oura Ring or a Whoop.
Okay.
Yeah, so it depends. But you can even just track this information down in a journal. And so you take that information to your doctor and point blank ask them, do you take care of women in perimenopause?
And when they say, well, yes, of course, I'm an OB, like...
I could be surprised. Some of them are like, actually, it's not my area of expertise. And you can always, if you're not happy with the results, or you're feeling like you're getting gaslit, or maybe the brush off, like, oh, it's just stress, or oh, it's just aging, or oh, this is just how women feel. You can always get a second opinion if that particular doctor doesn't specialize in perimenopause and menopause care.
Okay, let me ask you this, because
Yeah.
that's an important question to say, like, just even ask your doctor, do you specialize in perimenopause and menopause? You might just assume that because they're an OB that, oh, they know everything about females. Not true. Secondly, is there some sort of a registry or something we should be looking for that this person is designated as a menopause-informed doctor?
I would say one of the places we could go is like the Menopause Society has a list of perimenopause and menopause experts. Also, your pharmacist will know who's prescribing bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and they'll know the doctors to go to who are specifically working with women in perimenopause and menopause and delivering that level of care.
Okay, so we're going to get to hormone replacement therapy. I know that is a huge topic.
Yes.
And just teaser, you're in favor of it.
I'm using it.
You're using it. You've
Yes.
got your patch on
I've
right
got my
now.
patch on.
After doing all these shows, I have a patch on now. And let me just, since we're here now in this topic, do you think women should be doing this in perimenopause, wearing the patch, something like that, instead of, sometimes they'll tell you, just stay on birth control?
Yeah, I love this question. And yes, I do believe that women in perimenopause, particularly as they move through later perimenopause, because perimenopause is in two stages. But if you have symptoms that present for the support of hormones, have the conversation sooner, not later. Yes, declining estrogen levels affect our bone, they affect our muscle, they affect our metabolism, our heart, and if women are experiencing symptoms of, again, mood issues, energy issues, brain fog, and hot flashes, night sweats, and poor workout recovery, it is a worthwhile conversation. If they're struggling with sleep, worth talking to their doctor about oral micronized progesterone to help them sleep.
Yeah, okay. So let's take the basics. How do you know if you're in perimenopause?
That's a good question.
Is it the symptoms?
Yeah, here's the thing, it's the symptoms. Yeah, there's three ways that you can look at it. It's really based, a clinical diagnosis is based on symptoms. Unfortunately, it doesn't just announce itself one day, just say, hey, I'm here, or there's no single test, no blood test that's gonna tell you. So one, age. Right? Anywhere between, I would say, late 30s into early 50s. If you are 44 and you're coming to me and you are struggling with brain-related symptoms, your symptoms are cyclical, and you don't feel like yourself, perimenopause.
Okay.
Number two, I would be looking at your cycle. You are going to start to experience some cycle changes. Now, most women in early perimenopause, you are still cycling regularly, but maybe instead of a 28-day cycle, it's 26 days. Maybe it's lighter or heavier, or maybe there's a little bit of spotting, or you're noticing your PMS symptoms that used to just be 2 days or 3 days are now 5, 7. You're like, why am I in this continuum? Yeah.
So we start noticing, one of the first signs could be that your cycle gets a couple days shorter.
Yes. Or your PMS symptoms are longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a lot of women who are on birth control, will they still feel that and notice it?
It depends on the woman.
Okay.
So often they will still notice some shifts and changes more. Again, the brain-related symptoms is what women will come to me. The synthetic hormones that are in hormonal birth control won't necessarily impact the brain. Okay. So a lot of women will still experience sleep issues, mood swings, PMS symptoms, and so they could still potentially notice. Okay. But in terms of cycle changes and some of the other physical changes, usually birth control is suppressing those.
Okay, so what we need to understand now is that you're also in the busy time of your life,
yes,
right?
We are.
You've had your babies, and now they're like a little older, they're running around, you've got school, you've got your job, you've got this. So we're thinking, I'm tired and I'm feeling burned out or more anxious because I have more to do in my life. But really, that could be true.
Yes.
But it's also perimenopause.
Absolutely. So I am that mom.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old. I had him when I was 41 years old. And there's a big difference between just having a very full plate, a very busy career, tending to my family's needs, caretaking, and there was a profound shift when perimenopause came into my life. Like I knew that something wasn't right. I just didn't feel like myself. And so I will say that as full of a life as most women have today, perimenopause will often compound those symptoms. So you think about hormones as your protective shield, right? And as they start to erratically decline, they're not binding to the receptor sites in all the areas of the body, you will begin to notice maybe symptoms that you were able to kind of keep under control they'll present more, they'll exacerbate more. Like all of a sudden you'll notice that, man, I used to be able to handle all of these things. I could multitask. I could, fire on all cylinders. I had a nice edge, a slight edge, but then all of a sudden that starts to slip. You notice that your brain isn't functioning the way that it was, or that you're not able to tolerate all the stressors in your life. That is often the window of perimenopause.
I definitely noticed that, but I remember thinking, well, I actually noticed it most during the pandemic. So I blamed it, okay, we're in a pandemic. I've got kids, I've got a job. I was still coming to work all the time. I thought the extra stress I was feeling, not that it wasn't in part the pandemic, but if all of a sudden you're just not sleeping, but you were always a good sleeper, or if all of a sudden, because I guess not every woman, it's much more than hot flashes. That might not even be a big symptom for you.
No, exactly. I would say the most common symptoms, I know I keep bringing it back, are really the mood and cognitive symptoms.
Yeah.
And I think when women are
feeling
holding
stressed
it all,
and moody and maybe more tearful,
more
not
rageful,
able to handle the stress. Yeah.
Actually, one of the number one reasons women come into my practice looking for hormone replacement therapy or looking for support is they're experiencing this deep rage, this perimenopausal rage, and they're just like, this isn't me. Yeah, it's a decline in progesterone and erratic estrogen. I mean, progesterone is such a soothing, calming hormone, and when she starts to decline, which happens first, that's the hormone that goes first, we will feel it. We'll feel it. It'll feel like a deep sense of dread. It will feel like rage. It'll feel like irritability. It'll feel like you are losing your emotional capacity, and that is really scary for women, especially when all of their lives they have so much proof of them being able to handle life stressors and to be calm throughout the fire.
Okay, so what do we do about that? If you go to the doctor and he says, absolutely, I think you need something, you're struggling with anxiety, let me give you Lexapro or something like that, which is what often happens. What would you do instead if you thought that's perimenopause?
I would say, hey, I think this may be related to my hormones. I think this may be perimenopause. Would you be open to prescribing oral progesterone? Or would you be open to looking into HRT with me? Can I first give that a try before I move?
So that should be the first line of defense, you think, in America for our medical care for women?
I think,
rather than an SSRI.
Yes, I think it's a great place to start. If the reason why we are experiencing these symptoms is due to erratic declining hormones, wouldn't that be the first place to start?
Okay. Yeah. So, and let's just go into a lot of women, if you haven't heard, there's been a lot of change now that HRT can actually be protective and good for us. When we were told and our mothers were told, no, it's going to cause breast cancer, it's going to cause this. And if you're looking into this, you realize that there's been a tidal wave shift. But what is the current medical thinking? Even in mainstream medicine now, they're opening more to it again.
Absolutely. When we think about HRT, particularly when it comes to women in perimenopause and menopause, we're thinking about it in terms of preventative health, in terms of helping to prevent bone loss, to support our cardiovascular health, to reduce symptoms, general urinary symptoms of menopause, so GSM symptoms, and also to help protect our brain health. And so it is a worthwhile conversation. A lot of women are candidates for HRT, but you need to be having that conversation with your doctor.
I think a lot of women, the most troubling symptom for them is weight gain.
Yes.
Especially around the middle. And they'll go, well, I'm working out more. I can't eat it. I can't even look at a carb. I can't lose it. Is that hormones?
It's hormones, yes.
Okay. And so what do women do about that if they want to lose the weight?
Yeah, we get to be more intentional as we move into that midlife transition. So my first recommendation is, one, know your numbers. Make sure that your doctor is running your metabolic labs. Currently about 7% of Americans are metabolically healthy. So know that, are you the 7%? Are you with the 93%?
The standard labs you would get at your physical, or what should we be asking for?
The top 5, which is going to be your triglycerides, your fasting glucose, your LDLs, And then we want to look at your blood pressure and your waist measurement. So what is your waistline? So we want to look at those markers, and those can really determine your metabolic status. And I recommend running labs every single year. During perimenopause, due to declining hormones and also lifestyle factors as well, when we're this busy, I will notice women will shift from a really healthy metabolic state, and things will shift unfavorably over time. And again, that has to do with hormones and lifestyle. So it's important to stay on top of that. But when it comes to the power move to have more energy, to address the body composition changes outside of hormones, would be to make sure that you are stabilizing your blood sugar. And one of the best ways to do that is with the meals that you're prepping for yourself and your family. So always prioritize protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Do your best to remove the ultra-processed foods and the added sugar. And your morning breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. Do not start it with a sugary breakfast, because it'll be really hard to get off that blood sugar roller coaster.
This is one of the most powerful things I've changed, is to have a savory breakfast. I have a sweet tooth, and I know that most doctors are okay with this, still having some dark chocolate, all those things, but have it after. But rather than having, say, some really healthy toast with a little Nutella or honey on it, or even peanut butter and honey, starting with eggs or veggies can make all the difference?
All the difference. All the difference.
Why?
And one, because it keeps your blood sugar stable. When you break your fast in the morning, you want to make sure that you are setting your body up and your energy up so that you can get through the rest of the day. When we have that sugar breakfast, we are going to spike our blood sugar, and guess what? When you spike, you crash. So then all of a sudden you have cravings at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. in the morning. We often then are chasing that blood sugar crash, because the brain is thinking we need something else to fill that gap.
Okay.
And so we can get ourselves on that blood sugar roller coaster. The most pivotal thing that we can do outside of food is moving your body throughout the day.
Okay, so first thing, you get up in the morning, what do you do?
So I get up in the morning, I go outside. I get light on my eyes. I want to let my body know that I am waking up. I want to let my cells know and my brain know that it is time for getting into action. And then I move my body. I usually will do about 60 squats in the morning, just to let my body know. Or I'll take a walk outside if I can do it.
Any speed? Take the dog, just kind of wake up?
Yeah, take the dog.
Doesn't have to be really fast.
Doesn't have to be fast. I mean, if you want to pump it up, you can walk steady for a little bit and then go a little bit faster and then walk steady for a little bit. But no, I don't want to make this complicated. I just want you to move your body.
How long?
I would, 10 minutes.
You're starting at this, okay, 10 minutes, all right.
As much as 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes will move the needle.
Even if just like you promise yourself, which I've sort of been doing now, is while the water's running and you're waiting for it to heat up, can I do some squats?
Yes, do some squats.
I mean, it could be just a couple of minutes, could metabolically change everything for the whole day.
Yes.
So that's what I'm thinking, like 2 minutes and it changes my whole day.
Yeah. And if you can punctuate 2 minutes throughout the day, you are changing your cellular energy, you are changing your brain energy and your physical energy, and you are protecting your cardiovascular health.
Okay.
That's most important.
So after the 2 minutes in the morning, I mean, because I know women are thinking, I don't have time, and I can't do an expensive gym, and I can't do this. Okay, let's move the excuses, because we could all move a little bit first thing in the morning. And then if you have a meal, then you want us to move right away afterward. Like a brisk 5-minute walk can change everything about the digestion?
Yeah, absolutely. So after you get outside, you move a little bit. And if you can't get outside, just move a little bit in the house, right? Drink
Run
your
up the
water.
stairs to go
I always say hydrate before you dehydrate. So drink the water before the coffee.
Okay.
A little bit of electrolytes can go a long way. Even a sprinkle of sea salt. Just get the electrolytes into your system. I like lemon water.
Himalayan salt in my protein shake, just because I don't taste it, and it tastes good with chocolate anyway.
Yeah, exactly, totally.
So like a little salt will help us with,
and some lemon.
And lemon.
Yeah, a little
lemon water throughout the day.
Yeah, and even the more, and then try to swap that sugar or the sugar creamer for cinnamon in your coffee. So again, even sugar in your coffee, again, that's liquid sugar, can put you on that roller coaster.
I'm very lucky that my mom always drank black coffee, so that's not an issue.
Yes.
But is it okay? Like, people are going crazy with milks. Like, can they put milk in their coffee, and does it matter what kind?
Yeah, I mean, milk is fine if you can tolerate dairy. Unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, I find can be a sugar spiker.
That's what I really wanted to get across, because I know my daughter, now she's only 18, she loves the oat milk. But I've told her, essentially, it's ground up oats. So for an 18-year-old, maybe fine. But if we're in that midlife phase where we're trying to help our body handle sugars, oat milk isn't the best choice.
Oat milk is not the best choice. I would say unsweetened almond milk. I have looked at continuous glucose monitor data from hundreds and hundreds of women. And I will tell you, I can tell when someone is putting oat milk in their coffee.
Okay, so just in case you know what that is, it's a little monitor that now we can all wear this.
Yes.
I've worn it for stories before, and it actually shows you in real time what the food is doing. I found it very eye-opening. You can do little experiments.
Absolutely. It is extremely eye-opening. You learn very quickly what foods, what behaviors, what lifestyle strategies really affect your blood sugar, even sleep. Sleep has a profound impact on your blood sugar.
Yeah. So, and I want to get to what we can do for sleep, but now we're moving through the day, so you have lunch.
Yes.
What is it? First of all, we're hearing so much stuff. You have to fast, you have to this, you have to that. You need protein in meals. Do women have to fast? Can we just have some regular meals and make sure there's protein in them?
Yes, absolutely. So my recommendation is early time restricted eating, which means try to eat dinner within 3 hours before going to bed.
Okay.
So I would say 7 is typically a good cutoff for most of us. We can mostly do that. And then don't eat again. I always say anything past 7 p.m. is late night eating. Okay. Because it's just going to your booty. You know, it's like we're not in a thermogenic state anymore. We're in, melatonin is ideally rising. We're getting ready for bed. So it's really storage at that point. So
after 7 p.m., after if you get a little hungry, have some tea.
Tea, sparkling water, a little electrolyte water.
What about a little piece of dark chocolate? That'll ruin things too?
I would say when that window of dark chocolate is typically right after dinner.
Okay, don't have it at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So again, if it's a fiber-rich and protein-rich dinner, a little bit of dark chocolate on the back end of that, again, that dinner is going to blunt that blood sugar response.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So since we're here now, also, eating in this stage of life, eating order matters. And, I did this for a story. I was wearing the monitor. I'll just share what I was telling you, that I had 2 chicken breasts and a bag of grapes for my lunches here. And I was so hungry coming back to the market, I ate the grapes on the way back and then the chicken breasts. These are both extremely healthy things, right? Grilled chicken breasts and grapes. Who's going to complain about that? My blood sugar went through the roof on that monitor. The next day, I ate the chicken breast and then the grapes, and nothing happened. So even something simple like having our protein or our veggies first makes a big difference. The exact same thing that you're eating, but eat your protein or your veggies first.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always recommend, ideally, like having that little side salad first or a little small salad, because that'll help blunt that blood sugar response, and then the protein. And then, again, still be mindful about the carbs, that they are complex carbs, things like potatoes and squashes. These are going to be complex carbs. If you're eating a big bowl or a big plate of bread, you may still see that spike.
We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, but I just want to let everyone know we're talking with Dr. Mariza, and she has a new book. It's called The Perimenopause Revolution. We can bring up, there's the cover, and I know we've got a graphic of it. You can pre-order this. It's coming out in October, but it's reclaiming your hormones, metabolism, and energy. If you're finding this information so important and thinking you want to write it down, which I am, it's all in the book. Let's hear from the sponsor real quick, and then we'll come back and get to that HRT conversation before we have to end.
Struggling with gambling? Wheeler Health's Better Choice program offers personalized support and treatment to help you regain control. Visit WheelerHealth.org to learn more and take the first step towards recovery today.
All right. I know we're only going to have 5 minutes left, and this has flown by for me because I love this and I'm learning, and I think it's so important that we all learn. And I want to let you know we're actually having an event called Mastering Your Menopause. That'll be in October with a bunch of local doctors coming up at the Mandel JCC. So look out for that. But in our time together, let's talk about hormone replacement therapy. What is it, and why are you a fan?
Hormone replacement therapy is basically identical hormones. If it's bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which is what we're recommending today. It's hormones that are the exact replica of the hormones that we make in our body. And the point of HRT is to support our hormone levels so that they don't completely tank, and that they are protecting our entire system, including our bones, our heart, our muscles, and our brain.
Okay, so that would be what we're both wearing, an estradiol patch, which my insurance covers, and that's okay.
Me too.
Okay, so that's fine. You don't necessarily have to go to a compounding pharmacy and get special, really expensive creams or anything. You could start with your OB. If they offer you that combi patch, which is often what they want to do, would you say, no, that's not what I want?
No, I would say no. And making sure sometimes those combination patches, they're using a progestin, not actual bioidentical progesterone.
So you want the pills.
You want the pills. You
not
want the oral
pellets, pills.
Yeah, pills. Yeah, the oral micronized progesterone pills.
Yeah.
Yes, too, because they're going to help support your brain health and your emotional well-being.
Do you start on the lowest dose, or where do you start?
Most practitioners will start on a low dose. I typically, I usually recommend seeing how you do, how is it mitigating symptoms, but ultimately I'm looking for preventative health. Like, I want you to have good long-term health. So a higher dosage than the lowest dose can be very helpful for women, but
Okay.
it's really person to person.
Okay, so if you start taking it and you're like, I'm still not sleeping and I'm still really moody, you might want to go up in the
Yes,
dose.
absolutely.
Okay, do we recommend blood testing?
I think it's always a good idea to test, not guess. And we're talking, I want to see a very comprehensive profile. I want to see what's going on with your inflammation markers, your blood sugar markers, your metabolic markers, because again, these hormones are impacting everything across the board. So I want to take all that data into play.
Okay.
So not just looking at your hormones, particularly in perimenopause, it can be really challenging to nail the day to check hormones because they are erratically declining. Some days
Right.
are going to be up, some days are going to be down. And so that's why a lot of times when it comes to HRT, we are really working with symptoms and
Okay.
making sure that symptoms are being managed.
I have noticed, don't be surprised if your regular doc says, we don't really test because you're changing so much, but you would recommend at the gold standard, do some testing.
Yeah, and I
see.
would look at the whole profile, because again, a woman's estrogen may be fine, but her metabolic labs are not looking great.
Yeah.
Or her blood sugar labs aren't looking great, or her inflammation labs are not looking great. So I think, again, we're talking about a whole body approach when it comes to women's health. And so I want to look at the whole picture.
So in our final 2 minutes, we're going to talk about sleep. This, for me, I didn't know it was a symptom. I thought it was because I left a crazy life, but all of a sudden, I used to be the best sleeper, could sleep anywhere. All of a sudden, I was just insomnia, staring at the walls. And that probably happened, in, I don't know, sometime after 45, where all of a sudden I just felt like I can't sleep. And why am I not sleeping? And so that could be a big symptom. And how do we get to sleep better?
I love this question. Yeah, about 67% of us in midlife are going to struggle with sleep issues. And women, honestly, we've had sleep issues, even like raising our young children and postpartum. I mean, even cyclically, some women struggle with sleep even closer to their period. My recommendation is let's align your circadian rhythm, your biological clock. So the first thing I always tell women are asking is, are you going to bed at the same time? Are you waking up at the same time?
Even on weekends.
Even on weekends. No social jet lag over here, because that matters. How your biological clock is working, how it's relating to cortisol and melatonin, mission critical here. And then getting sunlight on your eyes in the morning, as I talked about earlier, that's going to tell your brain and your body that, okay, it's wake up time, and that's actually priming you for sleep. Another thing that I recommend is, again, moving throughout the day. The more that you move throughout the day, you're going to have better, more consistent sleep. I know you're thinking, well, how is this during the day that this is improving my sleep? But all of these things add up. And then if you're still struggling, if you're wired and tired, you can't seem to get to sleep, you can bring in some sleep aids, things like magnesium glycinate, melatonin, L-theanine, even teas like holy basil and chamomile tea.
I love my nighty-night tea by Traditional Medicinals. It works.
Little magnesium mocktail,
I know we're out of time right now. And that's a whole other thing. Yes or no? Alcohol?
No alcohol.
No, okay. So
no alcohol.
I know we're running out of time, but it's not good in the midlife. We're not.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Alcohol and midlife women don't really get along.
All right, the Perimenopause Revolution, and check it out. Thank you for watching, and follow Dr. Mariza as well. Check out her 5-week midlife reset, if we can throw up her handles as we go to break. Thanks, everyone.
CURES is sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.